that's how I think they should think about their business. They got a $1 million, a $3 million business. Like you're stepping into that money box, and somebody's turning on the fan, and your job is to grab as much of it and stuff it in your pockets or wherever you can hold it, right, and walk out with the most that you can walk out. And if you get really good at it and you get the big hands, like you could collect a lot of that cash.
From Sarah Systems and Billy Go, this is No BS with Billy Stevens and Landon Brewer, the unfiltered, straight-shooting podcast that dives deep into the heart of home service trades to uncover the truth about running your business. You're entering the No BS zone with Billy and Landon.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the No BS with Billy and Landon. We're so happy to have you join us today. And today's topic is going to be ways to pull cash out of your business and minimize your taxes at the same time. There's just so many things that we can do to create more cash flow inside your business that we're going to talk about today. I think this is one you need to stick around and you need to, really pay attention here. Take notes if you have to, or just watch it over and over again. But this is going to be pretty effective for you. And I think it's something you can implement immediately. Everything we're going to talk about today, you can start doing now. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce my co-host, Landon Brewer. How are you doing, Landon?
Doing fantastic. Happy to be here with my co-host, overall financial guru.
Well, there's just so many ways to pull money out. So here, I have a saying. When I go see contractors or I'm doing a webinar or whatever I'm doing, I always say, this is what I say. I mean, it's just like, you are already making enough cash in your business. You're just not getting it to the bottom line or in your hands. It's all there. If you got $1 million business, there's $1 million. How do you get most of it? So think about it. Oh, I just have $1 million business. No, it's $1 million. And that's how I want you to think about your business. If it's a $3 million business, think about that for a second. I know that you're like, oh my gosh, we're so low on cash. We gotta, we struggle to make payroll, or maybe we're making a little bit, and I can buy some stuff, but I got to save for the off season. No, we're going to help you not do that anymore, because there is so
Have you ever
much
seen
things.
one of those money machines, like on game shows or online, where it's like you step into this like box, and it's this clear box, and then they turn on a fan, and then the money just goes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I think they should think about their business. They got a $1 million, a $3 million business. Like you're stepping into that money box, and somebody's turning on the fan, and your job is to grab as much of it and stuff it in your pockets or wherever you can hold it, right, and walk out with the most that you can walk out. And so $1 million, $3 million a year business, that's what it is. That's how you got to think of it, because if you get really good at it and you get the big hands, like you could collect a lot of that cash.
A lot.
And most people are just walking right past it.
Yeah. I'm telling you what, if you have a $3 million business, you can pull $900K out of that business. All right. It's possible. It's so possible. And you're like, where is this money at? Well, it's there. It came in. But a lot of things eat it up, and we're going to talk about what eats it up. And so first and foremost, inventory. Oh my gosh. Cash killer. Cash killer. I don't care if you have $1 million business, $3 million, $10 million. You have got to stop paying for inventory. You have to work with your suppliers, and you need to get this consigned so that you're not using your money for this inventory. It makes 0 sense to own your inventory. I've got a $20+ million business in 2024, and I have $0 in inventory. 0. I have multiple trucks all over the place, warehouse full of stuff, no inventory on the books at all. I don't pay for it until I use it. And this is one of the best ways to create cash flow for yourselves. It is so easy, and your vendors will do it in a certain situation. You must be paying your bill already. You can't be a bad bill payer and expect to get the perks. You have to pay on time. And if you're not paying on time, we're going to have to work with you about getting in the month. There's something else I'll talk about is getting in the month. We got to get ourselves in the month so that we have money available at all times. And what I mean by
And
that
you got to
is,
narrow down the SKUs. You got to narrow
yes,
down the SKUs, right? I mean, like
yes,
I'm always bewildered by these people that have these trucks that have collected parts over the years. It's like, well, I might need this widget, I might need that widget. It's like, once in a blue moon that you might need something, and then you can just have it curried somewhere, right? So, but they collect stuff. It's like you ever seen the show Hoarders? It's
mm-hmm.
like half the technician universe out there seems like you could do a hoarder show in the back of their truck.
Yeah,
Like just narrow down the SKUs, decide what you want to focus on selling, and focus on only those things. Don't go crazy about 12 million different circuit boards. Like they got universal parts for a reason now, guys.
that's right.
Like let's just, if you haven't used the part in a long time, just throw it away. Nobody ever goes back on inventory, by the way, and does an accurate count. And then, every year we're doing this with audit and diligence. Like you got to go back, you got to count it, and the count is always off, and then you're taking a financial hit, and it's just a nightmare.
It's such a
Just
nightmare.
such a pain.
Just have what you need and don't pay for it until you sell it. And this is the thing that you need to. If you're listening to this today, by tomorrow, I want you working on this at the latest, and I want you to quit till you get your vendor to do this with you. And what they'll do, let's just explain what they'll do. So if you have all this inventory, they're going to tell you what they will take back and want, because they want to start at zero, just like you do. So they want to take back all that inventory, and you can get money for it. Okay, you may pay a restocking fee, but it's better than holding on to this stuff. When I see contractors and I go back in their warehouse and they have all this stuff and they have stuff on the shelves they haven't used in years and it's full and it's crazy, I just look at them and go, just throw all this away. If I'm buying the company, that's the first thing I tell them. I don't want any of your inventory. I don't want any of it. So you can go and sell it. Because it has no value to me. And we think about inventory way too much when there's a very easy way to lower the cost of inventory, and that is to pay as you go. And if you pay on time, your vendor will do this for you. Your truck should not have any dollars in them at all that are your dollars. It should all be, it's just an additional warehouse for these guys. They need floor space. Think about it like that. They need floor space. And so your truck is floor space. Your warehouse is floor space. And so it gives them more room to have, it's like them getting more warehouses. And if you pay on time, that's just their business. They warehouse it, and they sell it. So your business needs to be, I use it, I pay for it. If I don't use it, I'm not paying for it. And if you don't use stuff in a year, you need to keep up with it. Then you need to not have that at all, because it's taking up valuable space for something that you may need. And so that is my best advice on inventory. My other advice on inventory is we got way too many people worrying about it. If you do own it, way too many people worrying about it. Let's just give you some numbers here. You got a $3 million business. You're probably at best spending $400,000 to $600,000 maybe on inventory. And I'm not talking about equipment, because pretty much, hopefully you're not buying equipment. I hope that you're not buying it in advance. But if you are, stop. So let's say a $3 million business spending $400,000 to $600,000. And we're worried about where's that inventory, the shrinkage, the loss. And so we put 2 or 3 people on it. Excuse me, guys and girls. You put 2 or 3 people in your business on the inventory, and those people, let's just say they're making, I don't know, 60 to 100,000 each. So 2 or 3 people making 60 to 100,000. You got $180,000 chasing 10% shrinkage. Let's just say it is 10, which nobody should be 10. You have a theft. You have a thief in the hen house. So 10% of 600,000 is 60 grand, but you got $180,000 chasing it. Let that sink in for a second. So let's get this inventory figured out, and don't pay for it. Just sell it and pay for it, okay? My next advice on that, let's talk about how do you pay for it. You must use a credit card. and something that gets you points. If you need to, if you like to fly, you go to shows, you want to learn stuff, you want to meet people, you need points. I pay every one of my vendor bills with American Express. If they don't take American Express, I don't do business with them. And now I do something else. My American Express has I guess it's a statement due date. So the statement stops on the 20th of the month, meaning the credit card is now in the new cycle. So the cycle stops on the 20th of the month. On the 21st, we have a new cycle, okay? So everything that you bought before the 20th will be due in approximately 15 days on your due date for the American Express card. But everything you buy after the 20th, like say on the 21st or 22nd, I do the 22nd just to make sure it doesn't close on the 21st. When I buy on the 22nd, I just bought myself 45 days. So not only am I not having any inventory at all that I'm paying for unless I sell it, I'm not actually paying for it for almost 2 months. But yet I pay on time.
Now, if you can get terms of 30, 60, whatever days on top of that, and then you get the extra float from the credit card, I mean,
You can.
now you're months.
Your
right?
months,
Your
you can
months.
do that, but doing that makes it harder to negotiate pricing. And so I want them to, there's another thing. I'll tell my vendor, I want you to make money. I want service. I don't want any trips. I don't want anything from you. No programs, no trips, none of that stuff. All I want is two things. I want a fair price.
Right with you.
I want that price to be fair, and I want service. And when I need something, I need it and I want it.
Availability.
And make sure it's here. And that right there pays a lot of money to yourself because the expense and the chaos of not having that arrangement is very expensive. And so get the float, pay with American Express, get those points, tell them the due date, tell them the day that you will pay them every month. Pay them on the 22nd of the month, whatever your cycle is. You can actually move your cycle around on American Express, by the way. You can go to their website and actually change when you want that statement cycle to end or when you want to be able to pay your bill. And so the next thing that I do, and I'm still on American Express real quick, is when I get the statement from American Express, I do not wait until it's due. I pay it because remember, I had that massive float. And so American Express continues to allow me to do more and more and more. As my business grows, I never get capped out. I never get topped out because they know as soon as I get the statement, boom, it's paid. And now, but I just got the float. So if I already waited 45 days, 45 to 60 days. And so I pay it the day the statement comes out to win favor with American Express, and then continue to get unlimited expenses on American Express. And so we routinely have 7 to 12 million points at all times. And so I use them for, company events, company trips, things like that, going to shows, all these things that I don't pay for at all. And these things are expensive, very expensive, especially the places I like to stay. I like to stay in the best places. I mean, I stay in rooms that cost $7,000 a night in some cases, and they don't cost me a dime. And so that is why it's very important that you do this. Don't pay for your inventory. Put it on American Express. Build up those points. Get all those perks. Accounts receivables. What do you think about accounts receivables?
Well, in a residential services business, home services, you shouldn't have any. I mean, the amount that you should have in accounts receivables is whatever payments in transit, right? Whether it's financing payments or that's
should be credit cards and finance payments. That's it.
Yeah.
What about checks? We don't accept checks anymore. Did you know that?
I mean,
I don't know if we've ever talked about that.
I don't even know if I have checks.
We don't accept checks from our customers. You have a credit card, and so let's talk about that fee.
And I mean, and if
Everybody,
you do, there's technology now that you can just take a photo of it, scan it, and verify that there's funds available that you can
yep,
pull right away.
that's right. That's exactly what we do. And
Yeah.
we don't accept checks anymore. And you must pay with a credit card. And I know I'm hear you saying, oh, but that's 3%. And we don't take American Express because it's even higher, blah, blah, blah. Hogwash. Hogwash. Take those
Just
credit
putting
cards.
barriers up. Yeah.
Those people will spend way more money on a credit card than they would if they had the cash or a credit or check or financing. The ticket average goes way up exponentially. And if you build your pricing right, you price in the credit cards, spread it across every task, just like we do. Every customer pays credit card fee no matter what. And we know that every year we pay somewhere between 3.5% and 5% for fees. And so if I build that into my pricing, I think we build it in our pricing at about a 30% profit. So if we're at 5%, we're about 6.5 or 7% is what we charge every single customer, no matter what they do. And we actually end up making money on credit card fees and finance fees. And that's all built into our pricing. And it's very simple to do. And Sarah, if you use Sarah or you've been thinking about using Sarah, it is literally takes 5 seconds and you turn your credit card fees into a actual profit.
Yeah, and I guess that's the obvious, hidden cash in your business is not doing an adequate analysis of your pricing model, right? I mean,
Yeah.
as variable costs change, as your equipment cost changes, as costs go up, you have to, inevitably modify your pricing. And contractors, notorious for setting a price and then just I don't know if I can go up. I don't know. I used to argue with people about where their price point had to be. And it's just like, well, this is the way your business looks. Your price point has to reflect it. Period. End of story. It's just what it's got to be. You got to have a system for making sure that you get it every time.
The customer pays for everything. Remember that. The customer pays for everything. Do not allow a fee like that to deter you. Charge every customer that fee in your pricing. That's why national pricing books don't work. Every business has to do what they need to do to be profitable, right? And that's why an easy to use and replace and change price book is something you have to have so that you can do this stuff really easy. And again, that's built in Sarah, so it's very simple.
So I'll start with the example that you just gave, Billy, about the AR and the AP we're talking about, right? So if you think about it just fundamentally, you're collecting COD. There should be zero accounts receivable, only financing and credit card transactions in transit, right? And then for a period of 30, 45 days, you have other people's money, right? And you're going to take a portion of other people's money. You have to pay a little bit out to facilitate those services. You keep a lot of it, but you don't have to pay it for 30 to 45 days. So you're in a positive cash position for 30, 45 days after every deal, if you think about it that way. So if you're in a negative cash position, that means that there's something inherently wrong with your system for managing cash flow, right? There's something inherently wrong with your pricing structure, something inherently wrong with how you're collecting, there's something inherently wrong with how you're going to market and selling your goods and services. So you got to figure out what's wrong. If you're not cash flow positive at any point in time in your business, there's something that's going wrong in your business.
I agree. Back on the price book, I attend your board meeting every week with you and Lewis, and one of the guys that's in your group reached out to me about price book because I had mentioned it on one of the things, and I explained to him that you could literally build a price book and Sarah in like 5 to 10 minutes. And he says that I pay $40,000 a year to have my price book updated annually. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He says, we can't do it. So we pay a service to do it. It's too hard. And I'm like, that's got to stop. So guys, getting your pricing.
I haven't been in those shoes.
Get your pricing
I
right.
can't say that I haven't wasted weekends going through SKUs and doing that. So I get it. I get the frustration, but it's just absurd that it has to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to be that. And it isn't like that. I mean, all we need is the SKU and the new price. And then in 90 seconds, updated price book. Literally in 90 seconds. So, and didn't cost 40 grand, but you can send me the 40 grand if you want. I'll do it for you in 90 seconds. All right. So again, there's what we've talked about so far are big game changers when it comes to cash flow, massive game changers. What we're going to talk about now is now you've got some cash flow and you're looking for ways to pull more money out without paying taxes. You want to, you're always going to pay taxes. We know that. But how do you defer taxes or how do you lessen the tax bill? And there's several ways that we can do that. And one of the ways is, and most people know, is you buy the business in an entity that is not your business, your plumbing, HVAC business, electrical business, whatever it is. You buy the building yourself, put it in an LLC or something like that, and then you lease that building back to your business. Now, if your business has good cash flow because of the things that we were talking about earlier, your bank will loan you money in a heartbeat on a building that has a good tenant with cash flow. And your tenant is your business. And if cash flow is there, the bank will jump all over this deal to help you get a new building because they have a tenant that's going to pay the bill. They know that the depreciation is going to help lower your tax liability, so you're going to have even more cash. And this is how things start going. And so you, at some point, if you are able, buy your building in another entity and lease it back to your company. Obviously, you want to lease it back with triple net. You want it to pay all the bills, everything. Taxes. Triple net is taxes. It's maintenance. It's the mowing of the yard, of the grass, and all these things put together, cleaning the windows, servicing any problems. Make sure that you put a triple net deal together, and Landon and I can help you with those leases. It's real easy if you need help on how to do any of that. We can help you out. We can send whatever we have. But we want to.
What else can you put in a lease?
Well,
what else can you lease though? Besides the building, this is where it gets creative, right?
All right, this is where it gets creative. This is all legal. It is very easy to do, and I make
Billy Stevens, CPA.
Check with your own CPA. Let's just say that. Mine is fine. So mine is said is fine. So I lease vehicles to my business through another entity. Why do I do that? Several reasons. The business will get the write-off as an overhead expense of rent, just like paying rent on a building when you lease something. If I don't recommend that you lease from a leasing company that you're not a part of, because the interest rate on a typical lease is 24 to 40%. It's just, you just can't see it. And you don't want to lease vehicles. You want to buy them yourself in another entity. And then you want to put a lease agreement together between you, that entity, and your business. And in that entity, you want to pay the rent or pay the lease payment every month in the vehicle. And then that lease payment comes to the leasing company. And there should be a profit on there because if you build the lease correctly, you can check with your state. There's a maximum amount of interest that can be charged on a lease. In certain states, there are different levels. So you need to check with your state, wherever you are. And typically a lease is, the lease programs that I do are around 24%. And so if I'm paying 8% on the vehicle, I've got a 16% interest difference. And there's not many investments that you can do. I'll tell you in the stock market, all these places, that is more secure than making 16%. And if you have a fleet of, let's just say you have 10 trucks now. And I'm talking about your install trucks, your techs, maybe a delivery truck. There's 10 of them. And your own personal office. As long as it's over 6,000 pounds, you can do this with your personal vehicle as well. Now, you can't go back and do vehicles you already own or you're already leasing. You can't change. When you have one like businesses, meaning you own this one and you own the other one, you can't take the depreciation that you've already taken from that vehicle and try to reapply it to another entity. You can't do that. You have to buy a new vehicle that you never depreciated before. Now, talking about the depreciation side of it. So now the business is paying you a monthly payment that is higher than the payment that you're paying out to pay the vehicle off. And so you're making the difference up in interest, and then you're making the difference up in a residual. And it can get quite lucrative really fast. So you have 10 vehicles. Let's just say, for easy math, every one of them costs $50,000. You have $500,000 making 16%. You have a entity that's paying for it. You're collecting it, and then you're getting the depreciation in the lease company to offset the income that you're making to lower your tax bill. And now all of a sudden, you're pulling 16% or more, depending on what you want to do. Right from your business and yourself. Everyone's benefiting. And this is another great way to pull money out of your business to lower your tax burden. But I'm going to say this again, like I did in the very beginning. Your business, no matter what size it is, has enough money in it. You just got to get creative and start thinking about how do you get that money out and not in something, right? Where it just disappears and goes away. And this is one of those ways.
So Billy's got Billy got Stevens Leasing Company. I can see it now. Like the more creative you get, the more you get it dialed in. You're leasing yourself. You're leasing, not only the building and rents, but the vehicles, the uniforms, the copy machine, the copy paper, the computers. Like Stevens Leasing is the number one customer of Billy Go.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just another way for us to, pull money out of the business. Why would we want to give this money to someone else when we can do it ourselves? And here's again, what will the bank do when you tell them about this harebrained idea you have? You're going to start a leasing company and lease all the vehicles. You know what they're going to tell you? Let's go. You know why? Because you have a ready and willing renter or leasee that is going to pay its bills. And so they're going to loan that money to your lease company, like right now. And to set up an entity, you can literally have everything you need in 2 days, setting up an LLC and call it whatever you want. You can call it, Landon Brewer's Leasing Agency, whatever you want to call it, as long as it hadn't been taken before. And there you go. You're off and running. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. It's just these little things that make a big difference in your cash flow. And when we get our cash flow built in a way that helps us, you'll see the benefits immediately. I mean, the things I talked about today are massive amounts of money. They're massive. I mean, if you own all your inventory and it's $100,000, why don't we sell it back to the distributor if it's in great shape and it had been riding around, the boxes aren't all torn up. It's got to be in good shape, right? Sell it back to them, put that money in your pocket or back in the business and get it restocked with the stuff you really need with no money and pay for it when you sell it. This is a great way to get some cash in your pocket immediately, and they will do it. But you need to be paying your bills on time. You can't be behind and ask for them to do this because they won't. You have to be good at what you're doing. You need to pay your bills, and it's always important. And
it takes money to make money, right?
It does.
It takes money to make money.
Absolutely. So today, this show is all about getting that cash in your pocket. I hope you enjoyed it. We really like coming out every week and talking to you guys about stuff, and we're going to continue to talk about things that will really help you improve your business. And appreciate you hanging out with us today. My co-host here, Landon, is always fun. We enjoy sharing this information.
He didn't even talk about his stash of money in the Caymans yet. How are we ending the show without your Caymans Island account?
Well, the whole idea behind the Cayman Islands is it doesn't exist, right?
That's right. We'll keep that from us off. That's all.
But the thing is if you get the mindset, well, we were going to end the show, but I guess we need to keep going. If you get the mindset that the customer should pay for everything you do. Right? That is really what your business is about. The customer should pay for all of it. You can't subsidize for your customer. You can't allow your techs to discount stuff that has been figured out in a budget is what you need it to be. You can't afford to discount it. That's what kills companies. That's a lot of cash. If you discount something $500, okay, that ain't a big deal. But the problem is you're doing it 100 times a year. Now it's a big deal. And that's what we have to stop. We're gonna bail out of here now. Appreciate you hanging on. I hope you really get something out of this. This is the Gold Nugget Show, and we're trying to hand out those nuggets so you can be successful. Thanks for watching. And what should everybody do, Landon?
If you enjoyed today's show, just remember, everyone must like and subscribe.
And that's a wrap. See you next time, everybody.
No BS with Billy and Landon is produced and delivered to you by Sarah Systems. At Sarah Systems, we've created a better way to run your home service business and unlock unprecedented growth. Our field service software was designed by real home service professionals to help you save steps, charge for previously unbillable time, and win more business. But the true change requires more than software. Our live coaching helps you understand and control the aspects of your business that matter most. It's about time for a new era of service, and we're leading the way. If you're ready to join the hundreds of other contractors who've been able to increase profit margins more than 50% within 6 months, visit Sarah.tech today. That's Sarah, SERA.tech today.